And go live. And we're live. Sorry about this, everyone, for the little delay. Had a bit of a technical problem here. So, how is everyone doing? So, we got JD here and Stadia Vet Gaming joining me for the Cloud Station TV first ever podcast. So, you can say hello, guys.
Woo! Hello. What's going on, everybody?
So, JD, do you want to introduce yourself?
So I am JD3MXP. You can catch me on the Waypoint Gaming Podcast, and you can catch me on the Stadia Bash Community Network streaming Friday nights, and you can catch me here with this new podcast, PlayStation Now, Stadia Vet, and Dr. Spaceman.
Awesome. And we got Stadia Vet also right under here. So, what's going on with you?
Not much. You guys can catch me on YouTube and Twitch under the Stadia Vet Gaming logo. I don't have a schedule. I'm not cool enough to do that. So it's just, if you have the notification bells on, you'll know when I go live. It's 1 to 3 shows a day, 5 days a week. And I do have one show that is scheduled every Thursday or Friday at 7 p.m. on the Stadia Bash Community Network, your place for Stadia entertainment. Otherwise, and then I'll be on the PlayStation Now podcast here on Cloud Station TV.
Awesome. So yeah, and for myself, I'm Dr. Spaceman. Started streaming last year. You can find, well, this is my channel live right now because the actual channel for Cloud Station TV is too recent, and you have to wait a 24-hour delay before you can do any live stream. So I had to wait until we could start live streaming on that one, but from starting next week, it will all be on Cloud Station TV, which I should actually give the link for. I'll put it in the chat right here.
We're still new, folks. We're still new, so bear
with
us.
It's still under construction. So, what have you guys been playing lately? Whichever one of you want to start.
I've been playing lately on we're talking about PS Now, man. I've been checking out a bunch of games, which is Resistance 3, which I never played on the PlayStation 3.
Nice.
And it's been really fun. It's been really fun getting into that game.
Great. What about you, Vet?
I've been all over the place. A lot of I did Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So yes, folks, Call of Duty there is a Call of Duty game in the cloud. We already have one.
Nice.
And then I've been doing I had Drake Hakens Gaming actually requested. He had tried the service. He told me in the chat once when I was streaming, he's like, I tried it out months ago and it was not the best. And I was like, but he's like, I tried playing Metal Gear Solid 5 and there was too much lag and input delay and latency and this and that. He asked if I could stream it, so I did. And the last time I played Metal Gear Solid 5 was probably on PS. I don't even know. It must have been PlayStation 4 years, the actual console. So I actually played that one, and it was beautiful. And then I did the other Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. That one was fun. And then I actually tried Double Dragon Neon, which was another retro style one, but updated on the PS. I think that one came out for PS3, and that was fun. So there's just such a ginormous catalog of games that I'm all over the place.
No, it's easy to get lost. There are so many games. It's really nice. The other Metal Gear Solid 5 you tried, it's actually the prequel for the game. So yeah, I tried that one and also the other one, but back when I was playing on the actual console, the PS4. And lately I've been playing, the game that's in the corner there on the YouTube feed, Horizon Zero Dawn, which is absolutely magnificent. And I swear, I've tried PlayStation Now before, a while ago, before coming to Stadia, and it was just horrendous. It was playable, but horrendous. So I tried it to see if Stadia could actually be possible to work, if cloud gaming was getting there. And it convinced me to go ahead and try it because they were promising 4K gaming, and they were saying since it was built on Linux and all that, that it would have less latency and all that. And we've all seen, like, we've all been convinced over here. We're all into Stadia. We love it. It works well. And not too long ago, it's on Stadia and on Twitter. I was talking with Adam Stone from Stadia Rock. He was saying that PS Now was now at 1080p. I wasn't sure about that. I was like, "Are you sure about that?" I went ahead and tried it. Not only was it 1080p, there was no more pixelation in the stream. It was crystal clear, like playing local, and no latency at all, which really impressed me.
Oh, I know.
And it's now.
When I first. Oh, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say when I tried Call of Duty, if I had taken, and I think I made this statement during my streamlet, if I had taken away all of the overlay things that I use, and I just tuned in, and I was somebody else that just tuned in to YouTube and watching it, I would have thought I was playing on a PlayStation 4. It looked that nice, and running it with, I mean, I'm holding the controller, showing it off, moving the thing around so people could see, like, the input lag, the latency, nothing. I was just blown away with how it looked. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was running 1080p. Everything that I've hit was, and you hit you go into PlayStation Now and you look at the settings under the description and everything, and it says it's like 720p. But I'm just like, is that because to me it doesn't look it. It looks like everything I've tested had come in rocking 1080, but the biggest thing that I noticed was just the input lag, the delay. There's nothing. I almost put it on the same pedestal as Stadia, except just it's limited right now because it's a PS. You either play it on console or you're playing it on a PC. If they added, they just need a few things here and there. But it amazed me that I was just like, I didn't even hear Sony. Sony said nothing. I was like, you sneaked this in and updated these things without telling anyone. What? That's not allowed. You have to make an announcement.
It's one of the things. Actually, I just want to verify something with my microphone. Won't be long. I think I had an echo. Oh, okay, yeah, I think it's gone now. Well, I can hear the echo, but I think there was an echo on the YouTube channel for some reason. It's one of the technical problem I had earlier that put the show a bit late. But,
folks, that is the one problem. Folks, that is the problem with live TV. You always have technical issues.
Yeah,
yeah,
you were mentioning that they announced nothing. PlayStation have not said they've upgraded to 1080p yet. They haven't said that they've done some tweaking, and I think there's a reason for that. And we have to stay our ear close to the ground and listen to what's going on, because there's going to be some stuff happening pretty soon, I'm very sure. Because if they just improve the quality, it's not something to announce, but you don't throw money like that at a system like that to do that much of an improvement just for the fun of it. They're probably, I think that they're going to announce PlayStation Cloud, which will be separate from PlayStation Now, because PlayStation Now, the service, is really just about the library. While they do allow to play in the cloud, it's really the library that they're selling that you can install on your PlayStation 4 or 5.
And I was in a couple other chats, like I think Chase, the gaming advocate, I tried, I spoke in his, I was in the chat talking about it, and it's like he just kind of brushed it off, and I love the guy. I mean, he's a great person, and he's a hard worker and everything with what he does, but it's just like, I think it's just that there's so much going on with these other ones, and nobody hears anything out of Sony, because you picture Sony, you just think, all right, they're not going to focus on cloud gaming. They're more worried about their consoles, the PS4, the PS5, but they're shutting things down left and right on the PS4. And I'm just like, are they shutting it down to incorporate like the PlayStation communities? Why you close? I get it. You've moved on from PS4. It's all about the PS5. But what if they take those things like that from the communities, and they incorporate those things into the cloud service instead?
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really dope. And I think a lot of times people don't think about Sony and PlayStation because, like, when they had remote play with the PS3 and the PS Vita, And then it wasn't as good, but when the PlayStation 4 remote play, I was at work 45 minutes away, streaming to my Vita remote play straight from my PS4, and I was playing Madden, and I was like, "Wow, this is really great!" Like for gaming. And then next thing you know, Stadia jumps in years later with that. And but with the PS Now, when it first came out, Sony wasn't they was promoting it, and then it kind of got like people it backfired. Like people wasn't ready for it. You know, people was talking about how bad it was and everything. And I think just Sony just said, okay, we're gonna come back to this and just do these sneaky updates and get ready, focus on everything else that we're good at. And then we're gonna come back to this. And man, it is a really, really good service because I've never tried it out. I never tried it out till a few weeks ago. And when I tried it out, I was like, oh man, this is running really great. Like really well, like almost as good as Stadia's tech. And I was just like, man, I'm really impressed by that. And then to your point, Stadia, that as far as the games, I think that's what it is. People look at Xbox Game Pass, XCloud, and they're like, well, oh, you get all the games for day one with Xbox. If Sony was to do that, drop PlayStation exclusives on PlayStation Now, that's a game changer.
Well, and that's the thing is like, but even with to go off of that, like with Game Pass and all the everybody else and Stadia and and all of the other ones, they're all the same. They all advertise, whether it's exclusives to XCloud or like Outriders made headlines with Xbox because Outriders is coming to Game Pass and XCloud day one on as the console, and that like threw everybody off. But you don't hear these things out of Sony. Sony's been so quiet, and it's crazy. Like they've been quiet, but they're doing things in the background that like they're doing what Stadia said they were going to do. Stadia said after all of their fiascos and things over the last year, they're like, well, we're just not going to announce anything. We're just going to do that. And they still have setbacks. Whereas Sony is actually doing it and they're just saying nothing. And it's just, and I'm just blown away with how well it's running. And I actually, as I streamed, I had got a couple other people that said they were going to try it out because it looks so nice. And I'm just like, it is like, obviously look at my name. It's Stadia Vet. Like I'm not going away from Stadia, but Dr. Spaceman said the same thing in one of the streams that I was doing. Like they complement each other so well. You have PlayStation and all the games that come with that catalog, and then you have new stuff that comes out like FIFA and all the and big AAA games that are brand new that come out on Stadia. It's just beautiful. It's just a nice coexistence. And I think that, especially with PlayStation Now, it's just an underrated cloud gaming service that's been around for so long that people forget about that it's there.
Yeah.
And also there's some pieces of news that came out not too long ago that also might give some explanation to what's going on with PlayStation Now, the big upgrade and all that. I wouldn't say it's safe to say that's what happened, but it's really looking in a certain direction. So we have Jade Raymond that left Stadia, Google, Games and Entertainment because they closed down the whole office. But she already had accepted a position that was offered to her, a new opportunity that she jumped on. And now we just learned that it's a studio working for Sony. And while it's not safe to say that she's starting a new game service over with Sony, that she's just boosting their service, it's not impossible that she actually had access to information being at Stadia, seeing who the competition is. Like they just, that's the other piece of information that just came out. Sony just made a big investment in Ubisoft, which is the cloud gaming service that actually powers the games on the Switch. So there's Hitman and Control that were released on the Switch that require way too much power to work well on that system, but they use the cloud gaming to put it on the Switch, and that's through Ubisoft. So that company came out of nowhere. No one knows who Ubisoft is, and they started making deals. So Tencent invested in them. Now Sony invested in them, and Square Enix invested in them. All three companies answered basically financing call that they made, and they reached the needed objective. And also, that comes right at a moment. There's another news that popped out that Shadow Gaming is shutting. Well, they're not shutting down. They're looking for a buyer, And at the same time, Ubisoft was looking for funds to expand their services. I'm almost wondering because right now I think they're using Azure cloud services for every service they provide for cloud gaming, but they might be looking for funds to actually get their own servers up and running to help bolster what they can offer. So it's really going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in market. There's a lot of possibilities. It's getting really big for Sony. And that's one of the points I've been bringing is that right now we have PlayStation Now. That's the big library of games. We might see, like you were talking earlier, Vet, about the PlayStation communities on PS4 that just shut down. I'm wondering if we're not just going to see a transition of everything on the PlayStation 4 just transition into cloud. And then
it would make sense.
yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, and to go off of that, I mean, look at like the PlayStation Communities was really a cool thing. That was like their own little chat program service for everybody to kind of communicate with back and forth. Now, if you look at cloud gaming services, nobody has anything like that. I mean, you have chat and Stadia, which was a much needed thing, but you don't have and you have communities, basically channels where that you make communities. Now, if Stadia did that, that would be phenomenal because I think that would grow way faster than anything else that they have. But PlayStation already had that. And I think to bring that over would set them apart from every other service out there. And it's they, like I said, I mean, it's watching them. And I think they did the smart thing by not saying anything, by not just upgrading stuff behind the scenes and doing all of these things, that they've gotten to sit back and watch everybody else make headlines either good or bad. I mean, let's be honest, Amazon's been good, had good headlines. They've had negative feedback on things. Microsoft, same thing. They've had positive and negative stuff going on. And we all know Stadia has had positive and negative. I think they love doing that, rotating. They're like, all right, we've been good for a week. Let's go and shift back to being the bad guy again. And then they flip-flop with what they do. But Sony, you don't hear anything. They do their thing in the background. And the only thing I ever hear about Sony is PS5 is out of stock.
Sony are not big on hyping to deliver.
Yeah, PS5 is out of stock. And the fact that PlayStation, like, they went with Microsoft, right, to work on the cloud stuff or the internet infrastructure behind the scenes. So that announcement came out, that partnership. And then next thing you know, you got all these updates to PlayStation Now. And with the communities, that was really big. Them buying Evo, because I was like, man, they doing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 tournaments for like the past 6 months. I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? And they say, they have a partnership with Evo, and they brought them out. So if they take everything that they learned, everything that they're doing together, and just tie that into the cloud gaming, PlayStation Now, and that's going to be a huge move. You got the communities on there, you got fighting tournaments, you got these whatever Destiny, all these different community events going on in the cloud and playing from anywhere.
And the cool thing is they're still online. And I've had people ask, well, can you play games on like multiplayer games online with PS Now? And I'm like, yeah. I said I jumped into what was it? One of them I tested out. I don't know if it was Double Dragon Neon or one of these other games. I logged in, and the multiplayer, it found people. Yeah, Call of Duty has one. I'm just like, you can play games on. They have the multiplayer, like, and you play a multiplayer game like that, and you play with other people. They're not going to know what that you're playing on the cloud. Like,
no, they're not.
To be honest, if I'm watching myself play it on YouTube, if I have a video on the side showing what I'm playing, like, I confuse myself sometimes.
But and I'm like, one of the things, I suck at Call of Duty. I'm really bad at it, and I'm still able to get kill streaks while playing on PlayStation Now, which is impressive. I don't feel any latency when I'm playing. It's good enough to play Call of Duty, which a lot of people have been saying, no, it won't come to Stadia. There's too much latency. It's in the cloud. Well, PlayStation Now has a reputation of having way much latency than Stadia. And I'm able to play competitive. Well, not competitive, but I'm able to play online on Call of Duty and still get some kill streaks.
I think what'll be cool I think what'll be cool is if the new Call of Duty comes out, like we all know, like with Stadia, they have a partnership with Activision, but we don't have Call of Duty. What'll be cool is if a new Call of Duty comes to Stadia and it's available on PlayStation Now, like that would be phenomenal because then I can be like, hey, I've got it on 2 platforms.
Yeah.
You're
But
bringing
it's
a
just
good
it's
point.
so.
Oh, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Oh no, go ahead. No, I kind of lost my train of thought for a minute.
Sorry about that. But you're
fine.
you're bringing a good point with the partnership that Activision has with Google Cloud, but their partnership is really with Google Cloud, and they left Stadia out of it. But it's a little bit like if you watch, Sony is hosted by Microsoft and Azure, but from what I'm seeing, it's actually more with Ubisoft that is apparently hosted on Azure, from what Chase over from Gaming Advocate was saying. So
Right.
if Sony is dealing with Ubisoft, who then is dealing with Microsoft to get Azure, it's not really a deal of they cannot say, okay, it's competition between PlayStation and Xbox because Azure is growing very fast. In 2020, Azure actually made more profit for Microsoft than Xbox, which is like it's without precedent.
That's
It just-
crazy.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
4 years
absolutely
ago,
because Xbox was their big thing. That was their moneymaker. As much as Satya and I've never been a fan. I love Microsoft products. I used to love their stuff, but I was never a fan of Satya Nadella when he took over. It's just me because he killed off Windows phones, and I love those damn phones to death. I was a big supporter of them, but I will say, like there were a lot of people when he took over thought they were going to kill off Xbox, but that was the moneymaker. Like the consoles were always same with Sony. Sony was a big Sony's everywhere, but PlayStation was what made them who they are. I think. Yes, I know they make TVs, they make entertainment, sound systems, and all these other things. But if we want to look at the brass numbers, I bet you the bulk of their money comes from from PlayStation, from that brand.
Yeah, PlayStation 4 saved the company. Like the
Yeah.
Sony phones wasn't selling in the States like that. TVs and stuff wasn't like doing that well, and PlayStation it really saved the company.
Yeah, and I mean you go back to like PlayStation Now, it's just like the way cloud gaming is, like I listen to people when I stream Stadia and everybody talks in the chat. I read the chat. It's always, I wish they had this, or, I wish Stadia had this, or I wish cloud gaming had this, and a lot of it is always, it goes to like retro. They want arcade games. It's what PlayStation Now has retro. They have arcade games. I'm almost positive I remember they have Crazy Taxi.
Yep, they got Crazy Taxi.
They got the old school, the one that we all played on Dreamcast.
Right.
I think they actually had Crazy Taxi at the arcades when I was a kid. I did find a few places that had that, but they have those. They have Double Dragon Neon is nothing more than an updated version of the old school Double Dragon from the Nintendo days. So they have the arcade games that we all love, but they have other things. They have WWE 2K 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. They have like 5 different versions that you can play. Call of Duty Black Ops is, I think, probably, I would say Black Ops 3 or whichever one it is probably the biggest one that I would say that they have on there that runs spot on. Like you will never know that you're playing a game on a cloud-based game, or that quality of a game in the cloud. It's not feasible. Like I don't understand how it works that darn well.
Yeah, they really did a update to their system and just got it really, really good, man. I mean,
well, and my thing is like, and I don't know if you've heard it, Doctor, but people are like the biggest issue they have with like Amazon or like even PlayStation Now, that what I always hear is, well, it's a rolling thing. They get rid of games. There's a lot of games on there that have been there for a long time. So I think they roll out certain ones, but they don't just they don't keep everything on there and then just swap it out.
It's not like Game Pass where they roll out like every single month they're rolling out a different game to the service. Like they actually keep games on there for a long time. Like you said,
there's some that have been on there since probably it started. To be honest, I mean, yes, they're going to add new ones, but they have to get rid of some. And, I'm sure what they do is they look to see, all right, what is getting played, like basically not at all. And maybe those are the ones that they take off to add something new because people want to play games. That I'm a gamer. That's why I chose that one over some of the other services.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you
no
just look
doubt.
at the L section in the library, all the Lego games, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh
good
my God,
family
I think
value
that's
Yeah.
approach. They're not
Yeah,
rotating
I think
those
that
out. They just keep adding them. So there's to
yeah.
your point, yeah, there's some
Yeah.
games that are staying on the service and they just stay there for a very long time. But
Yep.
also, PlayStation Now is like it's the only cloud service that has Call of Duty right now. No other cloud gaming service has Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm? Yep.
How big is that, man? How big is that for cloud gaming services in general to have Call of Duty working in a cloud?
It's
Do you
it's a
guys
big
Yeah,
think?
deal.
that is huge. Like
And they have
that's
Battlefield
and
4.
you look compare Stadia because that is literally the most requested game besides Grand Theft Auto 5. I think Call of Duty is the most requested game that people want on a cloud service, and I'm just like, it's already on. I was
Yeah.
already playing it, and
Yeah.
somebody came into my show when I was doing that one. They're like, Call of Duty's on Stadia. I was like, no. Call of Duty's on PlayStation Now, but Call of Duty is in the cloud, so you can now play it in the cloud.
Yep.
If that is what you want, then by all means go for it. Yes, I'm a huge advocate of Stadia, hence the name. I'm not going to change the name, but I love games, and that's why I love play. That was what drew me to PlayStation Now, and as I've been playing it more and more, that's why I made the announcement on Twitter and and other play and even on my YouTube channel. I posted the updates that says I will focus on Stadia and PlayStation Now because those two are are the future. I think. Yeah, I get it. There's Xbox, but Xbox is going to only XCloud's going to gear towards Xbox fans. I'm sorry if I'm a PlayStation guy or I'm a Stadia person, I'm not going to. I don't, and I don't own Xbox. I'm not going to jump into their ecosystem.
Right.
I will apologize to every Xbox fan out there, but I feel like having an Xbox or having a PC is pretty similar. A lot of the library just goes from one to the other. It's like okay, you won't have really like Gears of War and all that on PC, but there's not that many games that are exclusive that are very high value that you won't find on PC. Like even the Halo games, most of them are on PC now. So
Yeah,
while
but the difference is, and the difference is with PlayStation Now, you don't have to download anything. With Game Pass, you still have to download it to your computer.
Yeah.
And
You
also
still have to
with
download the
PlayStation-
game to your PC, and I'm like, man, what's this defeats the purpose? Like for me, like I just want to stream it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not worry about managing storage space and all that other stuff.
And
like,
somebody asked me, well, can you save your game on PlayStation, on xCloud, or I mean on PS Now? And I'm like, yep, it saves in the cloud. And
Yep.
they're like, well, do you have to have PlayStation Plus to have PlayStation Now to to play multiplayer? It's like, no, I don't have PlayStation Plus. I never re-signed up for it because I don't use my PlayStation as often as I used to. But I can go. I was like, let's test this out, guys. And I hopped into a game that had multiplayer on PS Now, and guess what? I was able to play with a couple other people. So no, you don't have to have PS Now and PlayStation Plus. Like they just added the multiplayer is included if you pay for the service, which is awesome. Like that's the big thing. Like to have multiplayer working and you don't have to have another service.
Yeah, the way it works out for PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now is if you play on PlayStation Now in the cloud, you have your saves in the cloud for PlayStation Now. And you have PlayStation Plus will do cloud saves, but for PlayStation Plus. And it will gap between PlayStation Now and your console if you have one, if you're playing on a console as well.
Yeah.
So if you don't have PlayStation Plus, but you have both the console and PlayStation Now, you'll basically have separate save files. But if you have PlayStation Plus and set it up for the cloud save with PlayStation Plus, it will gap from one to the other.
Yeah.
Which is
So
still which is also kind of cool. Yeah. I would love to see like the game. I think like what do you guys think would be the biggest game changer for PlayStation Now to really kind of set themselves apart?
Just roll it in.
PlayStation, huh?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say just release PlayStation Cloud separate, allow all the purchases to be played.
Mhm.
No, that would be
gone
that would be
great.
a big deal. because
Yeah.
they would be on par with. For me, I think if they did that, yeah, that would be groundbreaking. But I think the other thing that I would love to see them do is expand the service. You know, I'm not saying like with the controllers, because you can get a controller anywhere nowadays. I mean, they're easy enough to get access to if you want a PS4 controller, which is really cool to do when you're playing games and it's vibrating and doing all that same stuff that would normally do on your system. But I think if they allowed you to play PS Now on, say, Mac and Chromebooks and Android, like right there, boom, you've got every market covered, and you could really. And I don't know if they're going to do it right away, because as everybody says, well, that'll just take away from consoles. No, it won't.
No,
That's
no.
like, I don't understand why everybody always goes, and that's the same with every service. But like PlayStation, like, well, if you have PS Now, you're not going to use your console. Do you realize that if you have a PS5, if you're one of the select few that can get one, and not from a scalper, that you can still use the PlayStation Now service on that, and then you're not downloading. But guess what? Yes, I know that they're coming out with PS5 games. There's just not a whole lot. But why do you want to download games in the first place, like all your PS4 games and things, when you can sign up for PlayStation Now and play those, and they don't download barely anything? Or the ones that do, then you have a ginormous catalog of games to play. If you're a console guy and you have a PS5 or a PS4, you can still do PS Now and play them on your console, and you have an even bigger catalog than other people. Like I don't like, you can't do that with Xbox. You can't do that with xCloud and Xbox. You can't just play all of those there. That's not how that works.
Yeah, I tell
that's
everybody.
The beauty of PlayStation Now.
Yeah, I tell everybody, even on Stadia, like they asked on the podcast, like, you know, do you think what is Stadia's point of existing if you have a console? And I'm just like, you can play it anywhere. The same thing. That's what these cloud services for. Like, if I'm not able to use the console, I can go to the next room. I can go anywhere. I can travel without bringing this heavy $500 piece of equipment and all these things with me, and I can play these games on the go, or I can play it in any room. I you know, that's the point of cloud.
Like my wife was. Well, and it is like, that's the cool thing. Like, and I know we're talking PlayStation Now, but we're like with Stadia. The coolest thing was, like, last night, my wife and my daughter were playing. My kids were playing Just Dance on it, and the controller died. Well, guess what? I had one plugged into my computer that was fully charged. So I just loaded up Stadia on my computer. It switched over. I gave them the controller, and then, or I swapped controllers and reconnected the other controller to the TV, and then they just loaded it right back up and didn't lose anything. Like, that is, and they were still in the middle. They were in the middle of the song and it paused, but I was able to switch to my computer and then switch back over. Like, when Sony gets that ability to do that, for PlayStation Now to go from TV to phone to computer to tablet, they will be on par with Google, with Stadia, with that. That will be the game changer.
There's a good reason, though, that they discontinued the PlayStation Now service from a bunch of devices. Like, it was on the PlayStation Vita before, and it was on the Bravia TVs and all that. But those all had very old networking hardware in it, so it was stuck on a 2.7 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and didn't have.
Remember the PS Now boxes?
The Vita TV.
Yeah, the PlayStation TV.
Yeah, I just remember they were advertised as PlayStation Now boxes. They were these little square black boxes you could buy at Walmart, and it was literally, you just plug it in, hook it, and then you'd have PlayStation Now service on it. I was like, and that just shows you how long Sony's been in the cloud gaming business. Like, they've been around, I think, probably almost. I don't know if they've been as long as GeForce Now, but they've been a long time, because that was ages ago. It seems.
Yeah, at least 2012.
Way before that, they purchased Gaikai, and there was another service they bought that actually had bought OnLive. So if you guys remember OnLive, that's a while ago. That's one of the first.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Well, Sony
I remember that.
Now. It's part of PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, $281 for a PlayStation TV box on eBay.
That's crazy.
But those also run PlayStation Vita games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
nice. I remember, like, Sony was really big at pushing PlayStation Now a while back, because they had the Vita boxes, but you could get, like, Sony branded DVD or Blu-ray player. I don't know if it was Blu-ray or DVD or both, but they had like where it had all the web apps, but you could also get PlayStation Now on your, like, if you bought a Sony DVD player or a Sony Blu-ray player, you could play PlayStation games on it. And it blew my mind with where they were, and you don't have that now. But just think if they start rolling those devices out again as things go. But I don't see it as on DVD players, because I think those will, and Blu-ray stuff like that'll get phased out as people start transitioning to like smart TVs. But what if they eventually add a smart, you break out a PlayStation Now app on smart TVs?
Yeah.
Like that's another way to branch it out and get it accessible to more people.
Yeah. And then just make it on all the TVs instead of just the Bravia series of TVs.
But give it a Roku an app. Have Android TV. Put an Android app that's available on the Google Chromecast with TV. Not that I want to throw Google under the bus with that, but I mean they already have GeForce Now and Shadow and a couple others, and they don't have Stadia on there.
Right.
So,
but
I mean,
Sony's and all that for sure.
Yeah, Sony's watching. Sony, like, they're watching what others are doing, and they're capitalizing on the flaws that each service has and fixing it and just not saying that they're releasing these things. And then we just get to reap the benefits of it.
Right. I tell people all the time, man, like Sony be sleeping. Don't sleep on Sony. Like they don't be sleeping. And they be watching, like you just said, like they are watching, they are doing things in the background. They are doing things, watching the competition, and they do things ahead of time. Sometimes those things fail, but they go back and reinvent themselves. They never just stay like not doing anything.
Yeah, we're not talking like, I hate to throw Sega under the bus, but man, Sony's not like people. It's weird watching everybody like compare, because it's always when you talk about cloud gaming, nobody brings up PlayStation Now. It's always, oh well, I have xCloud, or it's Luna, or it's big companies. I'm like, but Sony's a big company. Why would you not consider them? They just it's like the ones that hate on Stadia. Have you tried it? Well, not yet, but I just know I won't like it. Have you tried PS Now? Well, it ran crappy when I tried. When did you try it last? Like a year or so ago. Well, there's your problem. Yeah. And what's really weird to me is like you don't see anybody streaming it. That was why I chose it. Like I tested it out first before I live streamed it, and I was just like, I have to do this. There's nobody live streams PlayStation Now. Your live streamers are basically Amazon. Well, I don't even know if anybody streams Amazon. I don't. Ray, the gaming cyborg, does stream Amazon. I will say that he's one of those.
A few times.
Yeah, and people will stream GeForce Now, and I know like Dr. Spaceman's a big supporter of it, but that's and I've streamed a few GFN stuff. Nobody does xCloud because it's hard enough to stream from your phone. And with the input delays and stuff that xCloud has currently, it's not worth it. And Stadia obviously it's
not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, I had issues galore.
Is bad.
It ran okay. It ran okay. I had a few of them that were 1080p, but I had no sound in half the games. Either there was sound on the stream and I didn't hear it, or there was sound in my game and it wasn't in the stream. And I'm just like, that's not me. That's xCloud having their issues. But you don't see anybody streaming PlayStation Now, and I was just like, I don't know why. Like, I started
the gaming community at large that's afraid of cloud gaming and no one wants to touch it, or is it just Stadia has the Stadia, Amazon, and GeForce Now has the bigger market mindset?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know who to narrow it down to. Like, which one do you pick is what's afraid, and I think it's just, I think that because Sony doesn't really say anything, that's why nobody talks about PS Now, like, and nobody streams it. Like we as a for the podcast, we have the market right now, because you try to talk to you go on other podcasts and you watch and you're in the chat. Like I said, I was watching Eddie Player One and Chase, the gaming advocate, and they're on their podcast. And I brought up PlayStation Now, and Dr. Spaceman was in there, and we were chatting about PS Now, and Chase highlighted it, and then just kind of briefly hinted at it, and then just moved back to xCloud, PlayStation, and Google and Luna. It's just he like completely brushed it off, because it's like, well, Sony doesn't talk about it, so I'm not going to. It's like it's not a thing, and I'm just like, but it works really, really well, way better than Luna, and way better than XCloud right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why? I mean, but it is. People are gonna, whether they talk about it or not. I'm gonna keep streaming, and I'm having fun with it. I mean, and there's a big enough catalog that I don't even know if I would be able to stream everything on there.
No, it's humongous.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons no one's talking about PlayStation now, and we talked about it, they still dropped an upgrade, and we kind of stumbled upon it. It's almost by accident because I was talking with Drake Kickens. He tried it last month, like in February. That's really not that long ago, and the quality was crappy. From what he said, he actually recorded footage, and it didn't work. And now, I tried it like over a week ago, and it was
Eddie Player
clear.
One.
Yeah, we got Kiefer for Christian Gamer Dad and Eddie Gamer.
And look at did you see Kiefer for said nobody streams PS Now because they stream PlayStation. But if we're talking cloud gamers though, and that's what I'm talking about with it.
yeah, cloud gamers. It's not in the topic.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like we need to like make it a topic. And the Christian Gamer Dad's very intrigued about PS Now. It's an intriguing thing because it doesn't get talked about. And I get Keeper's his comments about there's no difference. People looking for PlayStation, they're gonna just search a game and you happen to see it. Like you're not gonna because it looks so the quality is so good now. Like you can't tell. Are you on console? Are you on in the cloud? Like you just can't, unless if I stream a game, I have to tell everyone, hey, this is in the cloud. Like I'm a cloud gamer. Eddie's
that's a good
comment.
point. Eddie brings. If you're an Xbox fan, you can buy PlayStation games. Well, play PlayStation game without having to buy a PS4. It's one of the big points of cloud gaming. It's affordability and availability. Availability is a big point. Like PlayStation 5s right now are like the moment they come on sale, they're gone within an hour. They're still the most sought after console out there. Was able to purchase a Series X that I actually already sold to someone. I'm just waiting for the console to come in. I was gonna play with it, but decided to. I don't even want to bother with it. But it was available for a few hours when I bought it on Best Buy. Like 4 or 5 hours later, I checked and it was still in the store. As for the PS5, every time I see an alert that it's on Best Buy, I go check out of stock. It goes crazy quick. So with the console crisis that they're having right now, the supply shortages, it would be a great time to actually put PS5 games on the cloud on PlayStation Now, even if it stays at 1080p. You don't have to push it to 4K. Just allow the people to play on more devices.
I have no idea.
And do the promotion. Like, say you got the new Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation Now that you can play. Come on PlayStation Now and you can play right away. With the console shortages, that would be extremely popular. And then
I will say, like,
over to PlayStation 5 once you actually get a console.
Yeah.
I will say, like Kiefer said, bring me Spider-Man. That's all I want. I will agree. I would love for Spider-Man to be on the cloud on PS Now. Like that's one that I actually liked playing it when I have it for my PS4 Pro, but for the console. But if they had it on the cloud, I would play that all the time.
Yeah, Sony's petty.
That would be awesome.
But Sony's petty, man. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna get all the money first. Just like with the PlayStation exclusive coming to PC, everybody's like, "Oh, every single PlayStation game." Sony's like, "No, we made all the money that we could from the exclusive."
Sony doesn't like to do it. Sony doesn't like to have. Yeah, Sony does not like to have games that are exclusive to PlayStation go to other platforms. I mean, prime example, MLB The Show. They've had a death grip on that for God knows for as long as I can remember, and they're just now with the current release, the one that's coming out, the new one. What is it? 20? What are we on? 22? 21 or 22, whichever one it is. Yeah, which that one will be. This will be the first time that's ever been on another system when it comes to Xbox.
Horizon Zero Dawn's on PC. It came out last year, it shows that they're changing their opinion on some stuff. If they were to
Right.
bring purchases to cloud gaming on PlayStation, like you could buy your Spider-Man game and all that without having to buy a system, but still capping it at 1080p, that might interest some people, especially like, okay, PlayStation would accept it because it's capped at 1080p. There would still be an incentive in buying your console or your PlayStation 5, but everyone would be able to just purchase the game and play in their browser or play on mobile if they release a mobile app or on the Google TV. So just making it more available, they'd sell a lot more software. And we know that PlayStation doesn't make money on hardware. It's on the software they sell that they make money.
Yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
step away for just a sec, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to.
So, yeah, if they bring in purchases with cloud gaming for like just PlayStation Cloud, if you have PlayStation Plus along with whatever services, and just allow everyone to do purchases, that would really help PlayStation make way more money.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. They would make it that a lot more money, but they are just not. I don't know. They're Japan. They're a Japan company. They are very strict. You know, they change very little. PlayStation changes more than Nintendo does, but they're still very. You know, they got their traditions and their ways, and they just stay the course. But they do change. But as far as like putting the games on other systems, the software and all that, man, PlayStation is tight grip.
It's kind of the old school with the new school coming in. Like people are retiring, mentality is changing all over the place.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think we're seeing some of the approach. Like I'm very doubtful that the Horizon Zero Dawn releasing on PC and MLB. Well, MLB it wasn't really their control. They were gonna get the MLB license pulled, I think, if they didn't release on Xbox because they wanted to get more sales. But
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Right. Well, and they have the license for it, don't they? Like I mean, I don't know who owns the rights. Like when PlayStation now sells, or I mean, not PlayStation. When MLB, every copy of MLB, who gets the money for that? That when it sells, that money go to Sony?
I think it's like the NFL license with Madden where they have to renew it, and then the NFL, you know, they make their demands, and so I think it was the same thing with MLB. They you know, they make their demands or whatever, and Sony was forced to do that.
Yeah, I mean the fans, they're MLB's going to listen to the fans, and the fans say we want it on other stuff. So I always said that gives me hope that for other cloud gaming services, that the fact that MLB the show is now on Xbox gives me hope that it'll be, you know, maybe it'll make its way to cloud-based systems. That's the key there. I like I said, you know, it's crazy how it works that with things with the way they go, but you know.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying a
All
moment
it takes
ago.
is
It's
one
the
person
old
to
school versus the new school, but there's also the mentality that if you buy like a $500 or $600 box, you're locked into an ecosystem, and you're gonna want to buy games for that box. But if you're kind of freeing the consumers from that and letting them buy whatever they want from whichever provider they want, then you're opening some very interesting opportunities. People they won't have to spend $500 on a box. They'll just take maybe $300 or $400 of that money they would spend in a box and just buy a collection of game, and then they have money for more money for themselves. So everyone wins at that because the boxes that they make, they cost a bit more than that amount of money. So you don't have a loss anymore. You don't have hardware that's going to end up like in a landfill eventually, because eventually all the consoles break down. Like some of them are preserved, but a lot of them break and they end up in garbage. So you're helping the environment. The consumer is saving some money because they don't have to spend as much on hardware and they can get more software out of it. And the publisher, whichever it is, like PlayStation, Xbox, or Google, they're selling way more game. They're making more profit out of that. So it's a new school of idea that's coming in that's giving more freedom to the consumers, and in the end, it is paying out. But we have to see over time that they accept that change. So we have to give it time.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
reading.
I mean,
I'm just reading a
oh, go.
quote from Jim Ryan. They was interviewing him about it. He said, "For us, having a catalog of games is not something that defines our platform. Our pitch, as you heard, is new games, great games. We had this conversation before. We're not going to go down the road of putting new release titles into a subscription model. These games cost many millions of dollars, well over 100 million to develop. We just
Sorry
don't see
about
this as sustainable." So I think when it comes to hardware and software, that's their stance on like why we're not putting a lot of games in the cloud is because we put so much money into these studios and so much money into R&D with these consoles, and our studio, like they changed their whole worldwide studios. They're trying to make TV shows. They're trying to Sony experience is storytelling, and putting you inside of the game, giving you that experience.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid, prime example. Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, they had Kiefer Sutherland. I mean, when he was, he's not really in TV anymore, but he was a big to do with 24. Yeah, and I mean those are games like that was one of the things that drew me to Metal Gear Solid, and to be able to re-experience that again on PlayStation Now is awesome because it's like you don't see games that have the detail like that, and to be able to play a game like that with that kind of detail in the cloud and have a storyline that just I know it takes forever when you first start the game. It's long, drawn out, but that it's kind of cool though because it's like I'm watching a TV show. Like, I live stream that stuff on PlayStation Now, and I'm like, I'm sitting here with my people that are watching with me, and I'm like, I'm watching a TV show with you until I can actually play the game.
right. And that's how my wife watched. She watched me play these PlayStation games, and she enjoys watching me play. It's like a whole movie. It's a whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, they've got like. There was one I saw like, when I was talking about multiplayer, like, yeah, they've got Crazy Taxi. Guess what? They've got a bunch of the Resident Evil games. They've got Duke Nukem Forever. I played that one, and that one has online capability multiplayer. So you can actually play that with your friends online in the cloud, which is awesome. Because there are games that I would love to play online, and there are people that play those. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to hop into an online match in Duke Nukem, and I bet there ain't nobody in here. And sure enough, I did quick match, and it found like 4 people in there. I'm just like, it's crazy that there are people that play this, that I can go on a cloud game and play this. Like, I went on Anthony, and Now Your Mama Knows was on Wednesday was playing Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. Well, my kids were doing Just Dance. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is on PS Now. So I hopped on I loaded up my PlayStation Now service. I went into that, and guess what? I was able to play with somebody that was on Stadia, and I was using PlayStation Now.
Oh, wow.
Granted, that is one of the few that has crossplay, but he did not know unless I told him. And I did mention to him in the chat that I was like, hey, I'm playing with PlayStation Now, so what now?
Right.
But I mean,
I didn't even know you could do that. Yeah,
I didn't know either. Mr. Urban World actually was the one that told me that you could do that, and I was like, let me try this. That's some weird magic you're talking about. I don't know what's going on there. So, but I tried it, and you could not. I mean, Anthony destroyed me in the game because I'm not very good. But you would never have known that I was on PlayStation Now, and it was just really cool to be able to say, hey, I was on PS Now, and you're on Stadia, and we were playing a multiplayer game online against each other, which was really awesome. That's just such a cool thing to say. Like, I mean, and like I said, there's games on here that, they're on other platforms. There's games that I would never play. I mean, just because they seem really weird. Like, I Am Bread. You're literally a piece of bread, and you play again. Like, I'm just sorry. My kids will play that one. But they're like Dr. Spaceman said, like, they have what's really cool about, like, when you load up the PlayStation Now software, the application, it's broken down into your play history, a list of games. You can set up your own list. They've got recently added the what's hot games, but then they have what's called categories, which is what I would love other places to have. Mm-hmm. But they spotlight the indies, the family games. I don't understand the Hello Neighbor, but I have seen people play that one. But the Batman games are phenomenal. They've got Wreckfest, which is, I think, where you just destroy. It's Destruction Derby, basically. I remember playing Destruction Derby games on
Yeah.
PlayStation. Those were awesome games. I love those. I mean, they've got, I don't know how many other cross-platform games there are, but I loved like the Infamous games. Infamous and Second Son were awesome storytelling games. And it's just they've got adventure. They've got Friday the 13th. I love that game. I mean, I enjoy it. I wish it had a more of a, it was not just a straight camp. I was upset that it was just an online only type thing and it wasn't like a story mode. But they've got games that I played on Xbox all the time with my friends, like Dead Island. I like zombie games. They've got Sonic the Hedgehog and, you know, other, and Frogger. Like I can play Frogger in the cloud now. Like
Yeah.
I'm sold right off the bat. I was like, yep, I paid for a year subscription of PlayStation Now so I can play Crazy Taxi and Frogger in the cloud. In the US for the year, it's $59.99. For a year subscription of PlayStation Now, it's $59.99 in the US. It's $24.99 for 3 months, and it's I think $9.99 a month, and they give you a 7-day free trial. But I'm just like, it's not. It's worth it. Like for the amount of games that PlayStation Now has. Yeah, $10 a month. But if you just paid for a year subscription, you have access to like God of War, all of them, 1, 2, 3. You have Detroit Becomes Human. That one is like that's a like I remember downloading that on my PlayStation 4 for one of my sons to play, and that's a huge game. Guess what? I don't have to download it now. I can just play it on the cloud. Like that's the beauty, and like Dr. Spaceman said, they literally have a category that's just says Lego, and it's like every Lego game ever made. Like I didn't even know that. Like I mean, it's like I could play Lego. Yeah, I mean that is like that's what, and everyone's like, and I'm like, it's not like your Netflix of games, but because they have everything. They have games for the hardcore gamers like Fallout. They've got Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Dark Side or Genesis. They've got shooter games, Doom, all the Saints Row games, NBA 2K18. I don't think they have 19 or any of those, but they've got like other fun games, weird, the indie stuff. They highlight the indies as well. Overcooked 2, I Am Bread, Wolfenstein. They've got all the Wolfenstein games on there, which is awesome. They got a bunch of the Resident Evil games, which is super cool. And like I said, the biggest one, and the biggest one of all, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is probably your biggest one that you have on there. And I'm just like, I would love, and they have Mortal Kombat and Injustice 1. Injustice 1 and 2. And I love the Injustice games. I always like those because they do a story mode where you still get to beat up people. You can do just the regular like Mortal Kombat style or Street Fighter, but you can go and you can just do a story mode, and it takes you along for the story, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I got to play my.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just reading Dre. I was reading the chat.
No, and then they got Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline. They just don't have Call of Duty. They got Battlefield on there, and those were really good Battlefield games. Like, yeah, it's just
me. Okay, now people should hear me. Yeah, I had a audio issue. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay, you can carry on.
yeah. I mean,
Codex Chronicles, what's going on, buddy?
They have a lot.
You got
of
all the
Red
Cars
Faction,
games.
Red Faction.
We should be sharing the screen. We should be sharing the screen so people can see the games that we're
talking. For real. You just pull up the screen now.
Yeah, it's like they've got Cartoon Network games. I would not play it because I don't understand like that Rick and the Adventure Times.
I was doing something. It's not well calibrated, but hold on. I started setting up so I can share the screen.
Dr. Choose Gaming said he can hear you now.
Yeah, that's resolved. But I'm gonna put on the actual catalog of games. It's just your cameras are a little bit broken.
Yep. See folks, what we all said. Live TV is super fickle sometimes.
Yeah.
It's still under construction.
I mean, they got Disney games on here. I didn't see, and I really haven't looked through everything because it's such a massive catalog. They've got Disney's G-Force. But I do know they have Toy Story, one of the Toy Story games, and I love Toy Story. But they've got another one here, Paintball too. I don't know what it said, but I was like, I don't know what handball is. That just sounds weird. But I mean, hamster ball. There you go. You want an oddball game to play? You can play hamster ball and I Am Bread.
Bioshock, all three of them.
Jetpack Joyride.
I mean, look,
Jetpack Joyride is like an Android, was on Android, and they've got that. So you've got your fill for everything. They've got Mafia 2. They've got Need for Speed, NASCAR. I was like, there's just so many games to play and choose from. You will
Batman.
Have Super Street. They got Street Fighter. You need a race and fix
Ultra.
it.
WWE Battleground. Friday the 13th.
I was just like, oh, Twisted Metal.
Castlevania.
Bloodborne's on there. God of War 3 remastered.
And see, I tried to get like Anthony from And Now Your Mama Knows. I tried to get him to try it out at least. I was like, dude, it's a 7-day free trial. Try it out. Well, I've already beat all those games. I was like, yeah. How long ago did you beat them?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you've beaten them before, because it brings back, like for me, when I play some of these games, yeah, I might have beat it years ago, but to be able to relive the fun of playing those games is awesome.
Yeah, and some of it is just like trying out some of these games that you never like. I never played Dynasty Warriors, but I know people who have, and they got the whole, like, from 6 on up, they got the whole Dynasty Warriors catalog on there. Like,
yeah,
you know, Dead to Rights is on there, Dead Space 3, like all, you know, some of
there's
these
games on here that aren't
played.
Well, and that's like Wolfenstein, the New Order and the Old Blood. I love Wolfenstein games. I've played Wolfenstein games since the days of DOS. And they're not that. Yeah, I have Wolfenstein Youngblood on Stadia, so I can play that one on there. But if I want my older games that aren't available on Stadia, guess what? I'll go over and play them on PlayStation Now. That's the benefit of having another service that has a giant catalog of games. It's like I can play my new stuff. Yeah, it would be awesome if I can get new games on PlayStation Now. When they do that, great. It'll be awesome. But for the time being, that's what I have Stadia for. I have Stadia for my new stuff, and I have Sony for my PlayStation Now for all of the other stuff that I haven't played. There's a lot of, because I flipped as a kid, you know, growing up, I was like, all right, I had Xbox, and I was an Xbox guy, and I was a PlayStation guy. So I played everything on the Xbox original. I remember playing, you know, like, if they had Celebrity Deathmatch, I mean, this would be an open and shut case. There would be no reason I would be playing that one all day long. I remember that on Xbox original, and that was one of the things. And then I would go back over to Sony, because there are games that Sony has that Xbox didn't. And it's no different than in cloud gaming. It's like, guess what? Stadia has certain games that I want to play that others don't. If I want to play Marvel's Avengers, I'm going to play it on Stadia. But if I want to play, you know, Wolfenstein, the Young Blood or New Blood or the Old Blood or whatever, then I'm going to go, or Crazy Taxi, I'm going to play Crazy Taxi on PlayStation Now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't need an emulator to play. I don't need an emulator anymore. Now I can just play it, and it's going to run good.
And Your Mama Knows, look, they got Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX. Like, come on, like, you know you want to play that.
I know. And just think, if they have these 2 Pac-Mans on, if they have those available, and there's an online way to play those against other friends, like, I would say I'll throw the challenge out there right now that I will destroy him, even though I know I won't.
Just scrolling the Lego collection here. There's a bunch of them. Like I was saying.
Oh, Ray said Killzone is his. Killzone was his favorite, and they have Killzone 1, 2, and 3.
They got all the Killzone.
Killzone Shadowfall, and I think that's all. So they have all 4 of the Killzones.
Yeah, they got
Sammy said
all the
Ratchet and
Clank. They got
all 4 of them.
They got all 4 of the Ratchet and Clanks.
Ratchet and Clank is just amazing.
Maybe can I share my screen? I was like, man, I really want to show these.
I'd have to set it up. Which one are you looking for? Because I got it on screen right now.
Oh, okay, you got it on screen. Well, then never mind. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'd love to show off the catalog, for us to show off the catalog, but I'm not really looking at the live stream.
yeah, he's showing it all off, all the Resident Evil,
Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare.
I was wondering why everybody was like in the chat because I got the chat popped up, but I was like, man, why is everyone popping
What's
up
up, Ray?
games now? I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank
Ray,
is
come on.
an amazing
Come on,
collection
Ray.
of games.
You know you want to try to test this out, buddy.
Nah, it doesn't have all three.
Yeah,
with
I
just this
face
game,
crack.
which was a bummer. I really wanted 1 and 2 on there.
And for those that like to fish, they've got Rapala, the Rapala Pro Fishing Series.
Yep.
So
Yup.
there you go.
got
Only
Payday.
Resistance 3.
Sammy said, let's see, still some Ratchet and Clank games missing, but since it has a cracking time, I'll be happy.
Yeah, there's like 5 of them.
But that's the thing is they have farming games. I mean, for those that want to play farming games, like
Rune
I made
Factory.
fun of, I made the one that they don't have is like The Sims, and I made fun of that because I'm like, there are people that I used to remember when Mixer was a thing. Yeah, I'm old, guys. I remember Mixer. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, that was a thing.
Oh, Ray's a
Xbox,
PlayStation Now
and I
founder.
remember-
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, nice.
nice.
But I remember like people's watching people going to like you'd go to Mixer and you'd search and you could type in The Sims 4, and there would be people streaming it, and there'd be like 50 people watching some lady just talking about The Sims and giving a storyline, play-by-play of it, and I'm just like, I don't understand this. But then again, I used to say the same thing about just watching streamers. I'm like, why do you guys just sit and watch someone play video games? And I used to, and then I got sucked into doing the same thing, and now I'm a streamer doing it, and it's
Hey, Ray
it's
got
awesome,
the
but like,
Ray got the PS Vita box.
oh jeez,
He's a founder. He has the box, yo.
nice. But they've got like if you, and like we all love retro games. Like if you want to play retro, like instead of downloading emulators, sign up for PlayStation Now. They have Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure, but they also have Sonic CD, Sonic the Fighters.
There's
Sonic
8 different
Generation.
Sonic
They actually
games.
have-
Yeah.
Yeah, and have Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 4, but what I consider that's nothing more than episode 1, 2, and 3. That's Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 from the
Yep.
Sega Genesis. So they have the retro fix that we all want and love.
Yep.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, both of them.
Yeah. Split Second was.
Oh,
good,
I
man.
used to love those Star Wars, the Force Unleashed ones. I used to love those. But they have some older. I mean, they have a ton of them. They have Star Wars Bounty Hunter. You were Jedi Starfighter.
Yeah.
Oh God, they even have the Racer Revenge. I mean, so there's
Super
just
Star Wars
such
from
a-
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo.
Good classics. Oh,
was
Surgeon
with
Simulator.
the-
That's fun.
I was big with the Street Fighter games, and Tekken was
Yeah.
another one of those that I loved. But growing up as a kid, the one game I always remembered on PlayStation was Twisted Metal. That was just like if you had a PlayStation 1 as a kid, you had Twisted Metal, and the music and all of that was just it brought back memories.
Yeah.
And they have Twisted Metal on here. They have a bunch of those racing games. They have tons of them.
Yeah, they got a bunch. Whole lot, man. It's a whole lot to choose from, and so like everybody that's all like, "Well, where's PlayStation X Cloud? This is it. this is it
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah. Well, and Stadia just got Terraria. Guess what? PlayStation Now has it also,
Yep.
or Terraria, however you pronounce that one.
Yeah. They got Terraria. They got The Crew 2. I mean, The Evil Within. Elder Scrolls is on there. Like all you people that like Elder Scrolls.
PlayStation Now
that's on
used
there.
it used to be very expensive, but when they dropped the price to the current price, they put on like the last God of War that came out. It was
Yeah.
very recent. Like it was a brand new game, only a few months old, and they put it on there. So
Yeah.
it was for a limited time for
Well,
a few
and
months.
they've got golf too now. For those that want, like, yes, I know it's not the Tiger Woods golf, and if they had Tiger Woods golf, that's another one. Like, I hate watching golf because it just, to me, it's boring. But I loved play. Like, I bought PGA Tour, the new one on Stadia, but it wasn't the same as the old. And for those that remember, like the older versions of golf, the Tiger Woods ones that basically he promoted for them, or he was the face of. Those are what got me into it, and I was like, yeah, I'm a golfer. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I used to. That's the ones that I remember playing was the Tiger Woods era of golfing, and I don't. There's not enough time to go through every single game on here, but it's just
They have a
F1
revolving
2020
catalog
with
of
full
over.
lobbies.
They have a revolving catalog of over 800 games that keep dropping in and out. So
Yeah, and
that is the
it's
thing that
super awesome.
that is
Yeah.
the downer of PlayStation now. It's like games will be on a rotation, but they'll come back eventually. Most of them.
Yeah.
And some of them, and to be honest, some of them stay. Some of them don't
Yep.
even leave. Like I said, though, for those that want need if you want to have another place to play farming, they've got Farming Simulator. They've got Farming Simulator 19. They've got I think there's another one called Real Farm or something. I don't know, but there are games that I can. Everyone's like, well, I've already played all of PlayStation. No, there's no way that you played I Am Bread or I mean, they've got all the Dynasty Warrior games, 7, 6. There's some that I remember playing on Android, like Dynamite Fishing. There's weird games that you would never play on an actual system, but you would play if they've 8-bit armies. That to me it looks like Minecraft basically, or something. It's that block style gaming. So look, there's your Minecraft in the cloud, and I guess from what people say that's what Terraria is. I don't know much about it. I don't even think I bought it for Stadia. But like I said, they've got basketball, they've got NBA, they've got wrestling from the WWE 2K15 all the way up to 2K19.
Yep. F1
So
2014 to F1 2020 is on there. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas.
Hey, and they do get new games. They do get new games because remember, Battlegrounds just came out, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds is on PS now, so they get new games too.
Yep.
Although they do have Virtual Fighter too, so Virtual Fighter, you that was an arcade one I used to rock at in the arcades with quarters.
Yeah.
So you got your arcade classics, you got games that Dead or Alive. Like I used to love those. I don't know what the heck Guacamelee is, but
Guacamelee was
I mean,
like a platformer. It's like a platformer. It's a wrestling person as a platformer. It's pretty cool. But yeah, you got your fighting games.
As Ray said in the chat, variety is great, and I mean you don't get much more of a variety than what we've just gone through. And to go from Crazy Taxi, Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sega Genesis version, then you jump to like Super Hot and Hotline Miami 2 or Call of Duty Black Ops 3, or jumping over to, then you go to Legos and play the Lego Movie, and then I'm gonna do Need for Speed Rivals, and then maybe I'll do some Ratchet and Clank, and then go and play some Bomberman. I mean, I could go all over the place, and they've got every genre you could possibly think of.
Yeah, I was like a kid in the candy store when I opened up the PS Now app, and I was like, "Yo, what are all these games? Oh, I had never played some of these games before. I could check them out." I was just like, and it loaded up on my PS4.
And if you
like
got
all these
kids.
games.
Well, and that's the thing. People don't realize PlayStation Now works on PC, PS4, and PS5. So even if you don't have a PS5, or even if you do, like I said before in the podcast, guess what? You have all of these games you can play now, and almost all of them don't download. So you don't even have to take up space on your PlayStation. But if you have kids and you have a PS4, guess what? You have family games, just like Stadia does. Stadia has quite a big collection of family quality games, family friendly, and so does this. If you want your kids playing all of the Lego games to their heart's content, guess what? PlayStation Now is where it's at.
Yeah.
Just checking the.
Or if you're a Disney guy, if you're a Disney person, like I was, Unitrix said super hot, but they have Toy Story. They one of those party games, Toy Story Mania. That is nothing more than a party game, a family-friendly party game where you get to do different things within the Toy Story world. I'm sorry, I love that because I remember that on the Wii. I think it was the Wii. I'm a big toy. I love Disney. I love Pixar movies. I was a huge fan of the Toy Story franchise until they came out with Toy Story 4. Stupid Disney, and they're trying to ruin my childhood. But anyways,
I'm just showing the lobbies on the
F1
right now.
So I love those kind of games and stuff. And my son loves my 3-year-old loves Buzz Lightyear and things like that, and we'll go on YouTube and we'll watch Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. But to have the ability for him, and he's learning how to use, like he's played Monster Truck, the Monster Truck game on Stadia. He actually I live streamed it when it first came out, and he took my controller and started playing it, and had like 5 people commenting like, "Man, your Stadia vet, what's wrong? You are terrible at driving." I was like, "That's my 3-year-old driving." Oh, never mind, he's doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
But I mean, just for him to be able to have access to games that he's never played, or even my older kids that have played, that want to play games that I'm like, I don't want to buy those. You can't even find them half the time, or I got to buy them online. And some of these online stores charge an arm and a leg for some of these games. Like, I can let them play PlayStation Now, and now they can have access to games that they enjoy. That's what this is about. As gamers, we have that ability to just play all of these awesome games.
And what I was showing a moment ago on the live stream
about this, that they give us this ability to do. And PlayStation Now has done such an awesome job of behind the scenes stuff, quietly updating things so as not, and I think they did it for a reason. I think they did this to do everything in the background because they watched everybody else falter, like when they make headlines. And Sony doesn't like to make headlines. They have a hard enough time when the PlayStation Network gets hacked and goes down for months at a time.
But that hasn't happened in a long time,
No,
since
I know,
PS4.
but yeah, exactly.
And then they were promoting PlayStation 5. So their whole last year was all about PlayStation 5.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is like, you're focused on your consoles are the big ticket right now. So what better way to then promote PS5 and to an extent promote the PS4 for the games that are still coming out for it, but work on PlayStation Now in the background, because you don't have to worry about anything. People even noticing stuff, they're going to just notice it when they try it out. And eventually, once the PS5 is out there, I would say within maybe this is the last console they work on. I don't know. I doubt it, but it could be. Or they could start, once the PS5's been out for a while, then they can kind of transition and start putting more effort into PlayStation Now. And maybe they somehow tie in PS Now with the PS5, and we get PS5 games. And now you don't even have to have a PS5. You just have to have the service, because we all know that that eventually companies like Microsoft and Sony, Nintendo, they're going to be switching. Microsoft's a prime example of services. They want you on subscriptions.
Yep.
Everybody wants subscriptions. That's the thing, is TV is no different. So eventually Sony's not going to just not worry about it. Like, they're not astute, they're not dumb. They've been around for God knows how long. They've been around in the gaming industry. So they know that cloud gaming is eventually going to be the big thing. And they're not going to want to take a back seat like Nintendo to cloud gaming. So that's the thing, is like, they're just going to focus on PlayStation right now, and on the PS5, getting that going, making sure everybody has one that wants one, and work on PS Now in the background. And then eventually the PS Now is going to be a big thing, and they're going to come out strong as all get out, because they can be like, hey, we've done this and this and this, and everyone's jaws are just going to drop.
And they got to continue to work on it, because you got to remember, in Japan, mobile games are like, that's what they do, is PC and mobile games. A lot of people don't buy consoles in Japan too much. And so that, Xbox doesn't really have a presence over there. Stadia doesn't really have a presence over there. And their only competition is Nintendo with the Switch and just mobile games. So Sony's going to continue to work and tweak and try to get that out there, because ever since the Xperia phones, I think this.
Oh my God, I remember
Xperia
those.
Z. I got from
T-Mobile. You slide it out, and it had a PlayStation controllers. It was literally the PlayStation phone.
Pretty much.
I bought one of those.
Had the PlayStation phone, and they've been promoting PlayStation Now Remote Play on their phones, because that was really big in Japan. So yeah, Sony's going to continue to work on this. But you're right, Sadie, that they don't have to focus on it right now. They just focus on PS5, some of these games that's coming, PlayStation 4 games, and their exclusives. And then when they're ready, and they're working on VR, but when they're ready, they can just say, hey, PS Now, boom, back with a vengeance.
Yep.
Definitely.
Drake Aiken said even his printer has a subscription. Man, I
Yeah.
told you, man, subscriptions are the way of the future.
Pretty much.
But still, if they were to bring purchases to PlayStation Now, well, PlayStation Cloud, I feel like it would help the platform take off, because
I think
all
it would
those
too.
all those PlayStation 5 games right now that are only available on PlayStation 5 that you have to purchase a console to get, if you can at least play at 1080p wherever you want, it's going to promote your service. It's going to promote your box, because people will still want the PlayStation 5 at home to play in 4K, those that are hardcore gamers. So
Yeah.
it's just going to help Sony in the end. So
Yeah.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming very soon. We haven't heard anything about what's going on PlayStation Cloud or PlayStation Now for a while, because they're just tweaking the service. They have nothing to announce other than improvement. And you don't announce improvement. You just announce when there's something, a new value to the consumer that's available. And if they announce that you can do your purchases on PlayStation Cloud, and that you can pair it up with whatever you want, there's probably going to be something coming down the road that's going to make it really interesting. So
Yeah.
year, and also, yeah, the yearly subscription is really worth it. It's a really good value for your money. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
People in the show.
Really, really good.
Thanks, Dre, for the compliments. The show is awesome. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, we got a chat on fire right now. It's really awesome.
Yeah, for
I'm really
sure.
liking how this show is turning out right now. By the way, this is the first time we do this panel, and we're thinking we have to talk more about it, but we might actually do also a podcast out of it. For now, we're using the Saturday morning window because it's the time that worked best for everyone. But we're looking into transitioning that into the Wednesday evening window down the road. So probably starting next month. So you guys seemed okay with this, and it worked a lot better for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get all the bugs worked out, folks.
Right.
Yep.
We'll get it all worked
By
out in the
by the
time
time our
slot.
next podcast.
still
Time
under
slots and
construction.
everything. Yeah.
But
we
yeah.
wanted to get
So
this
why-
out here.
Did you
know.
guys already promote the channel to where they can view the content when we're streaming for those of us that want to start streaming the PS Now stuff?
Yep. So I've created an account,
Okay.
Cloud Station TV. It's pinned in the chat right now if you want to look at that account. So right now you're on my personal account, but that other account, like all three of us will be doing some streams on there for PlayStation Now, or when we do PlayStation Now streams on our own account, we'll put it on there as well, so you can see whatever PlayStation Now content each one of us do. So please take a look at that. Click on the bell to get notifications if you want more information on PlayStation Now. We're trying to keep our ears on the ground to see what's going on with PlayStation Now, because there's some news coming down the road, I'm fairly sure. And just in the last week, the amount of hints we've seen drop from the industry, like the investment that Sony did in Ubisoft and Jade Raymond going to Sony all of a sudden, which is, it's not a sign that she's done something with them, but like I was saying, she has intel about what is going on in the market, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was the one to tell him to go to Ubisoft, seeing as it was one of the good solutions available for Sony to push their system. So there's a lot of news going out there that are hinting toward PlayStation Cloud getting much more functionality in the close future. So be sure to subscribe to the actual Cloud Station TV channel. We're going to put more content on there for sure, and this is just a beginning for us. So if you guys want to say a little word, JD?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for showing up and coming through and sticking with us through the technical difficulties. But check us out. Like we said, Saturdays this month, and then next month we'll transition over to Wednesday. We'll have all of that in there. You can catch me at JD3MXP on everywhere, PlayStation, everywhere. Stadia Bash Community Network Fridays and Thursday Waypoint Gaming Podcast.
Great podcast, by the way. Went there this week. Amazing folks.
Thank
What
you.
about you, Stadia Vet?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Ray, Dre, and everybody else in the chat that hopped in and watched. You guys can find me Fridays on the Stadia Bash Community Network at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find me here on Cloud Station TV and on Stadia Vet Gaming on YouTube and Twitch. Daytime streams are usually still going to be, for the time being, are going to be Stadia, and then my evening night shows that I'm adding are now going to be the PlayStation Now. So usually I'll do, if I do one or two games, it'll be PlayStation Now and Stadia. I do know, not this week, next week I will be, not next week, the 29th is going to be my last stream and then I'm going to be having major knee surgery on the 30th of March. So I will be out of commission and offline for probably until April 5th, that following Monday.
Good luck with
but I'll
that,
still
man.
be in the chats.
Yep,
Thanks.
yep.
I will still be in the chats. I'll be watching everybody, and Stadia Vet will be in the chat watching and communicating that way. I just will not be live streaming until I get home because I don't think that the VA hospital will appreciate me yelling and screaming at my phone while I'm recovering. So maybe not the hospital. I don't think the other veterans there will appreciate it. So it'll be a kind of a weird, nice vacation for me. So I mean, it won't be like this background you see. I won't be at the beach, but
And also, you can expect some guests to appear on this show, or you talk to a few people that were interested. So this will be nice. As for myself, I'm Dr. Spaceman, Dr. Spaceman Games on Twitter, and I'm also on Twitch. That you can find me there. And supposed to be affiliate. Paperwork's still going through, but I'm a bit everywhere, and this is my channel, obviously. And also, I think I've put in the description the channels. Yeah, it's right there. So Stadia Vet Gaming, and the other one is JD there. That's his channel. Be sure to give these guys a subscribe. So, have you guys anything else you wanted to add?
Nah, that's it, man. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Get some gaming done.
Awesome. So this was the that is gone for a moment there. Probably a little family crisis. But this was the first panel for Cloud Station TV. Be sure to stay on the lookout. This is us. Thank you very much for joining. Have a good one.